Let us go on and look at the water cycle. Some Muslim authors claim that the Quran shows pre-scientific knowledge of water cycle. What is the water cycle? Here in this slide, you see 4 steps. The first step is evaporation. The water evaporates from the seas and the earth. Second step, it becomes clouds. Third step, it gives rain. And fourth, this rain causes the plants to grow. This is all very straightforward, and everybody knows 2, 3, and 4. Even if they live in a town, they know that clouds come and rain comes and their flowers grow. But what about step 1, the evaporation? You can't see it. It's difficult. And the Quran does not have step 1. Now we're going to look at a prophet from the Bible, a prophet from 700 BC, Prophet Amos, and he writes, "He who made the Pleiades and Orion, who turns blackness into dawn and darkens day into night, and then who calls for the waters of the sea," stage 1, "and pours them out over the face of the land," stage 3. The Lord Yahweh is his name. And one other prophet is Job, in 26:28, at least 1,000 years before the Hijrah. He says, "How great is God, beyond our understanding. The number of his years is past finding out." Stage 1, he draws up the drops of water, which distill from the mist as rain. That's stage 3. And then the clouds are mentioned, stage 2, which pour down their moisture and abundant showers fall on mankind. So here in the Bible, this difficult stage 1 is there from more than 1,000 years before the Quran. Now,
in the field of water cycle, Dr. William Campbell pointed out certain things. The Quran describes the water cycle in great detail. And Dr. William Campbell mentioned 4 stages. In his book, he mentions 4A and B. The last one he didn't mention in the slide, I don't know why. It says that replenishing the water table, he missed out here, maybe because it's not mentioned in the Bible. He said there is not a single verse in the Quran which speaks about evaporation. Quran says in Surah Tariq, chapter number 86, verse number 11, Rajus Sama, that by the capacity of the heavens to return. And almost all the commentators of the Quran, they said that this verse of Surah Tariq, chapter 86, verse number 11, refers to the capacity of the heaven to return back rain, meaning evaporation. Dr. William Campbell, who knows Arabic, may say, why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically mention وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْمَطَرِ, meaning the capacity of the heaven to return back rain? Why did Allah mention specifically? Now we have come to know why didn't Allah do that in his divine wisdom. Because today we have come to know that besides the ozonosphere, the layer above the earth, besides returning back rain, it even returns back other beneficial matter and energy of the earth which is required by the human beings. It does not only return back rain, today we have come to know it even returns back waves of telecommunication, of television, of radio, by which we can see TV, we can communicate, we can hear the radio. And besides that, it even returns back the harmful rays of the outer space back on the other side and absorbs. For example, the ultraviolet rays of the sunlight is absorbed by the ionosphere. If this was not done, life on the earth would have ceased to exist. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far superior and far more accurate when it says, Rajya Sama, by the capacity of the heaven to return. And the remaining things, as he mentioned, is there in the Quran. You can refer to my video cassette. The Quran described the water cycle in great detail. Regarding what he said about the Bible, he showed stage 1 and stage 3 in the first slide, and the second, stage 1, 3, and then 2. That the rainwater is taken up, he says, and then the rainwater comes on the earth. This is the philosophy of Phase of Miletus in 7th century BC. He thought that the spray of the ocean was picked up by the wind and fell into the interior as rain. There's no cloud mentioned there. In the second quotation Dr. William Campbell gave, first is, according to him, evaporation, which we agree, we don't mind having the concordance approach with the Bible. Then rain falls down, and then other clouds formed. That is not the complete water cycle. Alhamdulillah, the Quran describes the water cycle in great detail, in several places. How does the water rise, evaporates, form into clouds, the clouds join together, they stack up, there's thunder and lightning, water comes down, the clouds move into the interior, they fall down as rain, and the replenishing of the water table, and alhamdulillah, in great detail. The Quran speaks about the water cycle in great detail in several places. In Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 43. In Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse 48. In Surah Az-Zumar, chapter 39, verse 21. In Surah Mu'minun, chapter 23, verse number 18. In Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 24. In Surah Al-Hijr, chapter 15, verse number 22. In Surah Araf, chapter number 7, verse number 57. In Surah Ra'd, chapter number 13, verse number 17. In Surah Furqan, chapter 25, verse number 40 and 49. In Surah Fatir, chapter number 35, verse number 9. In Surah Yasin, chapter 36, verse number 34. In Surah Jasha, chapter 45, verse number 5. In Surah Qaf, chapter number 50, verse number 9. In Surah Waqia, chapter number 56, verse number 16 and 17. In several places. Surah Mulk, chapter 67, verse number 30. The glorious Quran speaks about the water cycle in great detail.